Hello, students. I am Gyan from English Magus. Welcome to today's video lesson Indigo by Louis Fischer, Chapter 5 in Class 12 book Flamingo. Louis Fischer begins this chapter by recounting a significant meeting with Mahatma Gandhi at his ashram in Sevagram during the year 1942. In this memorable meeting, Gandhi answers Fischer's question when he thought of initiating the departure of the British from India. Gandhi narrates him Champaran anecdote explaining how the events there unfolded in a manner that took the form a big movement leading to the departure of the British from India. Let's begin the chapter by knowing a little about its author. Louis Fischer was born in Philadelphia. He served as a volunteer in the British Army between 1918 and 1920. Fischer made a career as a journalist and wrote for the New York Times, the Saturday Review and for European and Asian publications. He was also a member of the faculty at Princeton University. The following is an excerpt from his book The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. The book has been reviewed as one of the best books ever written on Gandhi by Times Educational Supplement. Before we delve into the detailed explanation of the chapter, let's have a look at its overview to help you grasp its theme. Indigo by Louis Fischer describes Mahatma Gandhi's involvement in the Champaran movement, which highlighted the plight of indigo sharecroppers in Bihar. Gandhi's journey, beginning with his encounter with Rajkumar Shukla, showcases his methods of civil disobedience and his dedication to social justice. The chapter emphasizes Gandhi's persistence, non-violent resistance, and his holistic approach to addressing both the economic and social issues faced by the peasants. Now we will begin the paragraph-wise explanation of the chapter. Before we begin the explanation of the text, I recommend you to pause and read text on each slide before listening to its explanation. This approach will improve your understanding as we go through our detailed analysis. Let us begin the explanation now. In the beginning, the author, Louis Fischer, tells us that he went to meet Gandhi in Sevagram in 1942 with a purpose to interview him. During the interview, he asked Gandhi when did Gandhi start thinking of expelling the British out of India. In reply, Gandhi recounted author an incident from his life. He explained his decision to push for British departure began in 1917 at the Indian National Congress meeting. Here, a poor peasant named Rajkumar Shukla from Champaran approached Gandhi seeking help against the unjust landlord system. This section dives deeper into Shukla's plight. We learn Champaran farmers were sharecroppers, and Shukla, though illiterate, was determined. He followed Gandhi persistently, urging him to visit Champaran to witness the injustice firsthand. At first, Gandhi refused to go with him as he was preoccupied. However, he was impressed by Shukla's tenacity and agreed to meet him in Calcutta at a later date. In this section we learn months later in Calcutta, a resolute Shukla was waiting for Gandhi and took him by train to Patna. There, they went to lawyer Rajendra Prasad's house, but Prasad was absent. The servants, unaware of Gandhi's identity, mistook him for another peasant due to his attire and restricted him from drawing water, highlighting the social hierarchy and the issue of untouchability prevalent at that time. In these lines we learn, recognizing limitations in Shukla's understanding of the situation, Gandhi decided to gather more information. He telegrammed a professor in Muzaffarpur, a town on the way to Champaran. Upon arrival at midnight, Gandhi was met by the professor and students. He stayed with a government teacher, Professor Malkani, highlighting the unusual support for a revolutionary figure in those times. In these lines we learn news of Gandhi's presence and mission at Champaran spread quickly. Peasants traveled to meet him, and local lawyers briefed him on their court cases related to the Indigo issue. Gandhi criticized the lawyers' high fees and suggested legal action was ineffective for such intimidated peasants. True relief, he believed, lay in freeing them from fear. This section details the root of the Champaran conflict. British landlords controlled most of the land, worked by Indian tenants. The primary crop was indigo, and farmers were forced by contract to dedicate 15% of their land to indigo and surrender the harvest as rent. However, with the invention of synthetic indigo, landlords now wanted compensation from peasants to be released from this arrangement. In this section we learn the indigo sharecropping system was problematic. While some peasants agreed to it, others fought it in court with the help of lawyers, while landlords used intimidation tactics. Upon learning about synthetic indigo, those who had signed for compensation now demanded their money back. Here, Gandhi enters the scene. He is denied information by both the Landlords Association and when he went to the British Commissioner to complain, he tried to bully him, highlighting their resistance to outside scrutiny. Here we learn despite the resistance, Gandhi persisted. He travelled to Motihari, the heart of Champaran, and was met by a large crowd. At that time Gandhi was given the information that the thugs of British landlords beat a sharecropper in a neighbouring village. Gandhi decided to travel to the village to investigate, but was soon interrupted by police, who ordered him to leave Champaran. Gandhi did not obey the order, setting the stage for a potential legal battle. In these lines we learn how Gandhiji, facing a court appearance, prepared his response. He mobilized support from friends and authorities, including the viceroy. The next day, thousands of peasants gathered at the courthouse, their spontaneous demonstration marking a shift in their mentality. Their fear of the British was starting to wane. Even though unfamiliar with Gandhi's past work, their presence challenged the established power dynamic, leaving the authorities feeling powerless without Gandhi's cooperation. Gandhi, however, maintained a respectful demeanor, demonstrating that Indian resistance could be effective and non-violent. Here we learn the British authorities were caught off guard by Gandhi's defiance. The prosecutor sought a delay, likely to seek guidance. Gandhi objected, pleading guilty. He argued he was caught between following the law and his moral duty to help the peasants. He emphasized disobeying the order wasn't out of disrespect, but a response to a higher calling. He argued he was ready to face the consequences. The surprised judge postponed sentencing and releases Gandhi on bail, which he refused. In these lines we learn the court delayed judgment again, allowing Gandhi freedom. Lawyers arrived to support him. Gandhi pondered his potential imprisonment and its impact. The senior lawyer assured him they would guide him, but wouldn't stay if he was jailed. In these lines we see Gandhi shaking Champaran lawyers' conscience. Gandhi asked the lawyers if he went to jail who would fight the sharecroppers' fight against injustice. The lawyers realized their mistake. They discussed this among themselves. Recognizing Gandhi's commitment, a stranger willing to be jailed for the cause, they felt ashamed to abandon the fight. They returned to Gandhi, ready to be arrested with him. Elated, Gandhi declared victory for Champaran and strategized their arrests in a pre-planned sequence. In these lines we learn the government dropped the case against Gandhi, a victory for civil disobedience. Gandhi and lawyers launched a large-scale investigation into the peasants' grievances. Landlords protested vehemently as evidence was collected. In June, Gandhi was summoned by the lieutenant governor. In this section we learn after lengthy discussions, the lieutenant governor established an official inquiry commission. Notably, Gandhi was the sole peasant representative. Here we learn about Gandhi's greatness and humility. He spent a significant amount of time in Champaran, initially for 7 months and then returning for shorter visits. What began as a brief visit based on a peasant's request became a year-long commitment for Gandhi. In these lines we learn the inquiry ordered by Lieutenant Governor found overwhelming evidence against the planters, who eventually agreed to compensate the peasants. Gandhi negotiated a 50% refund, surprising everyone by accepting the planters' counteroffer of 25%, resolving the deadlock. In these lines we learn the commission unanimously approved the settlement. Gandhi emphasized the symbolic importance of the landlords conceding money and power. He thought this would empower the peasants, who would learn about their rights and develop courage. The event ultimately led to the British planters leaving Champaran, with indigo sharecropping disappearing altogether. In these lines we learn more about Gandhi's selfless service to the poor and backward people of Champaran. Beyond the legal victory, Gandhi focused on the social and cultural upliftment of Champaran villages. He appealed for teachers, and volunteers arrived from various locations, including his family members. Primary schools were established in several villages. Kasturbai Gandhi took on the responsibility of teaching sanitation and personal hygiene practices to the women of Champaran. Here we learn how Gandhi played a pivotal role in providing basic health services to the people of Champaran. The poor health conditions in the villages were addressed. A doctor volunteered for 6 months, offering basic medical care. Gandhi observed the lack of proper clothing among women and prompted Kasturbai to address this issue. A conversation with a woman revealed the dire poverty that prevented them from having more than one sari. In this section we come to know about Gandhi's management skills. While focused on Champaran, Gandhi stayed involved with his ashram through letters, managing finances and sanitation. He reflected on Champaran as a turning point, a stand against British control but also an effort to help suffering peasants. This highlights Gandhi's core approach, practical solutions to everyday problems impacting the masses, driven by a deep connection to people, not abstract ideas. In the final section of the chapter we learn Gandhi's actions consistently aimed to empower Indians for self-reliance, a key aspect of achieving Indian independence. During the Champaran struggle, his lawyer friends suggested involving an English supporter, Charles Andrews. Gandhi strongly objected. He believed their reliance on an Englishman exposed their lack of self-confidence. A just cause, he argued, should be won by their own efforts, not external validation. Rajendra Prasad acknowledged Gandhi's lesson in self-reliance, a concept intertwined with Indian independence and uplifting the sharecroppers. With this the chapter ends. Here is the list of literary devices used in the chapter. Pause the video and go through it and stay tuned for more entertaining explanations of our upcoming lessons. Thank you for joining us. Kindly like and subscribe if you found the lesson helpful. See you in the next lesson.